Hi everybody, my name is Kim Anderson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are completely new here, then a particularly big welcome to you. I'm really glad that you're here to move a little bit with me today. And for those of you who've been here before and are back for more, then I'm really glad, first and foremost, that I haven't scared you off and that you've come back, which is really exciting. So regardless, whether you're new, whether you've been here before, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have a new class coming out each week, and that way you'll be able to get the notification when that comes out. So without further ado, we'll get into our practice. Instead of me babbling on and on forever, we're going to do an all-over flow, accessible to all levels, and we're going to be moving quite a bit. I find that can help us be really present in the moment, try to keep distraction at bay. So if you need to take a break at any point, you take a break, and then you come back and join us when you can. If you do have a couple of yoga blocks and you want to keep them by the mat, that's great because they're there if you need them. If you don't have yoga blocks, doesn't matter. It's not a necessity for the class by any means. So if you don't have them, then get comfy clothes on, bring yourself to the mat, and I will see you there. So go ahead and come onto your mat, and we're going to start today's practice lying down. So laying yourself down onto your back and just allowing yourself to settle in a little bit. You can lengthen out your legs. You might also choose to unite the soles of your feet and let your knees drop open. Or if this is a little bit uncomfortable on your lower back, you might choose to just keep your feet on the ground and let your knees rest on one another. So whatever you feel is going to be the most restful position. Take that and then allow your eyes to gently drop closed. You can open your arms out to the side with your palms facing up and begin to breathe a little bit more slowly and a little bit more deeply in and out through your nose. And just feel for a moment this stark contrast right now with even just 60 seconds ago, when you were still hustling and bustling to roll out your mat, get everything set up, and finding yourself finally here in this moment of stillness. And letting yourself really soak it in. Having a moment of stillness is such a gift. This moment of quiet might allow you to begin to notice things that generally you don't take notice of, like the rhythm of your breath. You might notice that you're naturally inhaling a bit more shallow than your exhale, or the other way around. And as you start to relax the muscles of your body, you might realize that you've got some points that are carrying a little bit more tension than the rest of your body. They remain a little bit blocked, a little bit frozen. And one of the biggest practices is full acceptance of this moment, exactly here, how we are right now. We're not trying to change anything. We're not trying to be anything. We're not trying to do anything. And then allowing your body to remain still, quiet, and calm. After your next exhale, begin to take an even deeper inhale into your nose, really drawing it out, making it as long and as slow as possible. Feel as there's expansion behind your heart, behind your rib cage. Feel your upper back pressing into the ground. And then open your lips and exhale everything out. And then after this cleansing breath, allow your lips to close again and just feel any sensations that may have come up after that powerful exhale. As we begin to now incorporate a little bit of movement into our practice, see how much you can take this calm and peaceful space that you've just created and allow that to be what it carries you through the practice. So at any point, if you begin to move and you're starting to feel overwhelmed, you just simply back off and then come back to your breathing. Now with your eyes still closed, if your legs are extended or your knees have dropped out to the outside, then you can place your feet onto the mat and begin to bring your legs, your bent legs, in toward your chest. And your hands come and they're placed gently on top of your knees. And then pushing your big toes together, the sides of your big toes together, and your knees are slightly separated, begin to use your hands to draw circles with your knees. But think less about the circle that you're designing with your legs and more about this little massage that you're giving to yourself on your lower back, right where your tailbone is. Imagine that the circle is actually being drawn there. And then slowly you can begin to change direction. Feeling your tailbone heavy into the mat. Your shoulders are still drawing back toward the mat even as your hands are guiding your knees into circles. And then coming back to the center, give yourself a little squeeze. So pulling your knees in toward your chest. Hug your legs a little bit. You might rock from right to left, just a couple of times. And then from here, begin to lift your feet up to the sky as you blink your eyes open. And with your hands behind your thighs, begin to rock yourself forward and backwards. Again, this is a self-massage, so this should feel good. No pain in your back, and if it is painful for whatever reason, then you just skip this. And then come forward, crossing your legs and coming onto hands and knees. So coming into our tabletop position, and here we want to take a look at our alignment first. So check that your wrists are directly aligned below your shoulders and your knees are directly aligned below your hips. Your feet, your toes can press into the mat, or you can lengthen the mat at this point, whichever feels more comfortable. And sway your hips from right to left. So just getting a little bit of movement going into your body, and then you might want to start doing some circles with your entire body. And again, it doesn't matter what it looks like, but just try to feel that you're loosening up any of those sticky places that you have that you may have noticed at the beginning of the practice. We're trying to get rid of stiffness and anything that feels a little bit blocked. And then gently come back to the center. From here, begin to inhale as you push into your left hand. Lift your right hand up to the sky, and your ribs are turning toward the right. If it's comfortable, you can look up to your right fingers as they try to touch the ceiling. And then on an exhale, bring your right arm and thread it underneath your left arm. So your palm is facing up, and you're going to come onto your right shoulder and your right ear. Now, as much as you're trying to let yourself heavily drop into your right shoulder and your right ear, lift your tailbone. So your tailbone is making its way up toward the sky. And if it feels stable, you might start to lift your left hand up toward the sky, but only if it feels stable. Keep your jaw relaxed. No grinding of your teeth. Keep everything nice and soft. And then on an exhale, begin to bring your left hand down flat onto the mat, pushing into your left hand. Inhale, come back up with your right hand to the sky. On an exhale, bring your right hand down and lift your right leg out to the side. So you're basically taking your right bent leg and directly lifting it out to the side. Do a couple of circles here. And again, they are not perfect circles. It can be a square, an oval, whatever shape you want. Let's say free form, but just feeling into your right hip. And then extend your right leg out to the right with your right foot flexed. Try to lift your leg parallel to the ground just for a moment, and then set your right foot down flat. So your right foot is actually parallel to your mat. From here, walk your fingertips back, come to stand on your left knee and your right foot, and bring your right hand to the outside of your right thigh. As you inhale, you lift your left hand to the sky, and then gently start to bring it over toward the right. So you're getting a really good, beautiful stretch in your left side body. Inhale, come back up with both hands, and then exhale, gently place your hands on the mat and walk yourself forward. Wrists are below your shoulders. Lift your right leg, and then exhale, bending your right leg, come back into tabletop. You can shake your hips from right to left to kind of shake anything out that needs to be shaken out. And then coming back to the center, you're going to start to push into your right hand. And on an inhale, lift your left fingertips up toward the sky. Really trying to create space between your two hands as much as possible. On an exhale, look down, thread your left arm underneath your right arm, and come onto your left shoulder. So your left palm is facing up, and the weight is going into your left shoulder and your left ear. Your tailbone is constantly pushing up toward the sky, so you're really active in your core. If you feel stable, you can start to lift your right fingertips up toward the sky. Relax your face and keep breathing deeply. Try to maintain that steady, slow breathing, really rhythmic. And then on an exhale, gently bring your right palm flat onto the mat. Inhale to lift yourself back up, left fingertips up toward the ceiling. On an exhale, left hand comes back down, and we're going to lift our left leg bent at a 90-degree angle out to the left. From here, start to do some circles in either direction. It doesn't really matter. Just getting into your left hip. And then starting to lengthen your left leg out to the side. And I've got a wall, so I'm going to scoot over a little bit. Your left foot is flexed, and your foot is, the toes are pointing to the top of the mat. Try to push into both your hands, and then gently place your left foot onto the ground. The sole of your foot, it's like a suction cup squeezing onto the floor. On fingertips, you're going to walk your way back. Come up to stand. So your left foot is it's parallel to your hips. Pushing into your left foot. Inhale, your left hand comes to the outside of your left thigh, and your right hand comes up to the sky. And then from here, exhale, right hand over you toward the left. Now your left Might slide down and make its way to the outside of your calf. You might stay up on your thigh. That really depends on how much length you're finding in your right side today. Look up to the ceiling if that's okay with your neck. And then on your next inhale, come back up to center. On an exhale, bring your hands forward. And then inhale to lift your left leg up. Just feel it for a minute. You can smile. And then gently bring your left knee back down to the mat to find yourself in tabletop. And then from here, place toes onto the mat and gently lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Here in downward facing dog, again, let's check our alignment. So our hands are shoulders distance apart. Our feet are hips distance apart. And you can look at your hands to check the width, but then don't keep looking at your hands. Then look toward your feet. So you're going to get some length in the back of your neck. And push your tailbone up to the sky. Bend softly your knees. Bend a little bit your elbows. Feel everything nice and active, nice and strong. Relax your face. And let's take a deep inhale into our nose. And then exhale everything out. From here, begin to walk your feet up toward your hands. When your feet get behind your hands, parallel, just forward fold. Let the weight of your head make its way down toward the mat, the crown of your head in particular. Your arms are nice and heavy. Relax your jaw, relax your face. And now with a soft bend in your knees, on an inhale, we're going to start to open our arms out to the side in a T. Lengthen your spine. So you're pushing the crown of your head forward, pushing your tailbone back. Your core is nice and strong. From here, hinge up to standing on an inhale, lifting your hands to the sky. And on an exhale, interlace your hands behind your tailbone. So keeping your hands nice and soft. You don't have a death grip on your hands. And pushing into your feet, really grounding down into your feet. Pubic bone and sternum go toward each other, so you're trying to keep everything really integrated in your core area. And then from here, it's as though your heart is being lifted up to the sky. So without pushing your belly forward, you're going to lift your heart up to the sky, but you're keeping everything really strong in your core. You can start to bring your shoulders closer together behind you. And don't think about going back. Think about lifting your heart up. Up, up, up. If it feels good on your neck, you can gaze up to the sky. And then on an exhale, you're going to come back up to standing first and then forward fold. Your interlaced fingers can drop over you, getting into your shoulder area. You might swing a little bit from right to left. You might want to just stay still. So whatever your body is asking of you, whatever feels good. And then gently release your hands. Bring your hands below your shoulders. Inhale, lift yourself up halfway. So when we do this, we're activating our hands toward our feet. So you're actually using your hands as traction to pull your spine even longer. As your tailbone goes back, the crown of your head goes forward. So you can keep your legs bent here. We're looking more for the length in our spine. On an exhale, sweep your right foot to the back of the mat, step onto your right toes, and come down onto your right knee. Inhale to come into low lunge, lifting your heart up just like we did before. Instead of going back, we're trying to just lift, get as much height as we can in our chest. On an exhale, begin to shift your hips backwards as you bring your hands down to the mat, lengthening out your left leg. So you're keeping a soft bend in your left knee, lifting your left toes, and pulling your left hip toward the back of the mat. Right hand flat on the ground. And if you feel stable, begin to inhale, lift your left hand up to the sky. All the while, trying to pull your left hip back and pushing really firmly into your left heel. Spread your left toes wide. Try to feel the breeze in between your toes. Then as you exhale, you're going to start to place your left foot flat again. Lengthen your left arm forward and bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot. From here, lift up your left heel, turn it toward the left. So basically your left foot's a 45-degree angle. And at the same time, we're lifting our right knee and then turning onto our right heel. So we're coming into side lunge, skandasana, leaving a soft bend in our right leg, our right knee, right toes pointing up. Now you might have your left heel up, and that's perfectly fine. Left arm pushing into your left leg, and you can stay on both hands here. If you can come down onto your heel and you feel good doing that, then you can do so. And then start to lift your right hand up to the sky. So you're trying to open up your ribs toward the right. And if it's okay for your neck, you can look up at your right fingers. Now here we're going really intensely into our left hip, and you can feel nice, intense lengthening of your inner right thigh. So go only as deep and as far as you need to. And then gazing back down to the ground, bring your right hand down if you lifted it. Lift up your hips as you rotate your toes, all 10 of them, to face forward. Bring your left hand to the left side of your foot. And then from here, begin to lengthen both of your legs. So again, it's that movement of pulling your left hip toward the back of the mat. And this time it's to not necessarily straighten your left leg, but to lengthen it. You'll start to feel it in the back part of your left hamstrings, your left leg, pushing firmly into both feet. And all the while, lengthening your head forward. Now from here, softly bend into your left leg, walk your hands forward, and gently step your right foot forward. Inhale, lift yourself up halfway, so your feet are parallel, pushing firmly into the ground. Exhale, right fingertips to the ground below your face. Lift up your left hand. So think about pushing your tailbone to the back of the mat and the crown of your head forward. Exhale, bring your left hand down, put it where your right hand was, and then inhale to lift your right hand up. Crown of your head pointing forward and tailbone toward the back of the mat. Exhale, coming back down. And then inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, this time we're going to lengthen our left leg to the back of the mat. Left foot. Come onto your toes, come onto your knee, and sweep your arms up to come into low lunge. So nice and strong in your legs stay active. And then from here, shifting your hips back as you start to lengthen your right leg and lift your right toes. Your hands come down to the mat. So you can leave both hands on the ground if you find that more stable. If you would like to try, you can place your left hand flat so you can really push into it. And inhale to rotate toward the right and lift your right hand up to the sky. So again, we're keeping a soft bend in our right knee. And to lengthen the back of our leg, we're pulling our right hip back and really digging into our right heel. Spread your right toes, give them some space. And then on an exhale, start to bend your right leg. Your right arm is going to lengthen forward until it comes to the inside of your right foot. From here, your right heel shifts ever so slightly to the right, and you're going to lift your left knee, rotate onto your left heel, coming into side lunge on the other side. Now, keeping both hands on the ground here, if you would like, or you can begin to lift your left hand up to the sky. Feel how you can squeeze your right inner leg into your right arm. And it's like you're trying to pull your left heel toward you. So legs are really active here. We don't want to hyperextend anything, so you got to maintain that activation. On an exhale, looking down, bringing both hands down, lift your hips as you rotate all of your toes toward the top of the mat. Begin to pull your right hip back, which is going to lengthen your right leg. And here you do always have the option as well, I didn't say it on the other side, but of placing your hands on blocks. So that'll give you a little bit more height and might help you to be able to get more length in the back of your right leg. So you always have that option. And if you don't have blocks, you can use books or anything else that is the same level and is stable, as long as you're not slipping all over the place. Now from here, gently bend into your right knee and softly walk your hands forward and step your left foot forward. Left hand stays below your face, and you can stay on fingertips. If you prefer, you can put your palm on the ground. Totally fine if your legs are bent here. Inhale to lift your right hand up to the sky. You can also put your hand on a block if you would like to do that. Exhale, right hand comes down, and inhale, lifting your left hand. Still pushing forward the crown of our head and pushing our tailbone back. Exhale, coming down with our left hand. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Feel your belly button pulling in. Exhale, right leg sweeps back. Going back to the right side, coming into low lunge as you inhale. On an exhale, shifting your hips back as you lengthen your left leg. Bring your right hand below your right shoulder and twist. Looking up to the left hand, up to the sky if it's comfortable, and continuing to push into your left heel as you're pulling your left hip back. On your next exhale, start to bring your left hand forward, lengthening it as you replace your left foot to the ground. Shift your left heel slightly to the left and lift your right knee, rotating onto the heel to come into Skandasana, side lunge. So your right toes pointing up to the sky, also your right fingers, if you so wish. You can also keep both hands on the ground, left heel on the ground or lifting, whatever is working for you. Exhale, bringing our right hand back down, coming onto right toes, staying bent this time in our left leg, and inhale to come into high lunge. So we want to make sure that our left knee is directly above our left ankle. Pull your right hip forward so your hips are paralleled. Relax your shoulders. Feel your belly nice and strong. And then from here, begin to lengthen your arms forward next to your ears. Try to keep your arms at the same level as your ears, shooting out of your fingertips, strongly pushing into your right toes. So a nice diagonal line that goes from your fingertips to your heel, your right heel. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to the ground and then shift your left hip back. If you would like, you might also lift your left toes this time. Again, you have the option of putting your hands on blocks. Digging into your left heel, pulling your left hip back, and trying to pull your heart forward. Soften your jaw, soften your face, and breathe. Replace your left foot to the ground, walk your hands forward, gently step forward, right foot and left foot parallel. You can kind of swing from right to left. You can stay still, whatever you feel like. Maybe you need to take a deep inhale into your nose. And then release something with an exhale out of your mouth. Inhale, pushing into your right fingertips. Start to lift your left fingertips up to the sky while you lengthen your spine. Exhale, left hand goes where the right hand was, and lift your right hand. Bringing both hands back down to the ground. Inhale to lift yourself up halfway. Exhale, sweep your left foot toward the back of the mat and gently come down onto your left knee. Inhaling into low lunge. Exhaling as you shift your hips back, begin to already rotate toward the right as you're lengthening your right leg and bring your left hand to the mat. Now you can put both hands on the mat and then lift your right hand, so whatever works. Inhale as you lift your fingertips up to the sky, pull your right hip toward the back of the mat, pushing into your right heel. On your next exhale, look down, Put your right foot flat on the ground and lengthen your right hand forward as you lift your right heel and shift it to the right. Rotating onto your left heel, left toes up to the sky, Skandasana on the other side, lifting your left hand if that feels really awesome. Now as you exhale, bring your left hand down to the ground, roll onto your left toes with right knee above right ankle. Inhale to come into high lunge. High lunge. Strong in your belly, pushing your belly away from the top of your thigh, trying to lift your heart up while you relax your shoulders. And then exhaling, coming into this diagonal line. So really pushing into your left toes, nice and strong in your right leg, and keeping your arms aligned with your ears. So you're feeling that squeeze between your shoulder blades. Try to lengthen as much as possible. Allow the shakes to be there. And then exhale, hands down to the ground, and shift your right hip back, lengthening your leg. You can have your hands on blocks. Spread your toes wide. You can also leave your right foot completely flat on the ground. So lifting the toes is like the cherry on top, if you would like the cherry on top. And then gently place your right foot back down. Walk your hands forward and bring your left foot up to the top of the mat. Left fingertips on the ground below your face. Inhale to lift your right hand up. You might keep wrapping your arm behind you and bring your right fingertips either to your tailbone or keep walking them around and see if maybe they can wiggle their way to your inner left thigh. Pull your right shoulder back. Keep pushing the crown of your head forward and your tailbone back. On your next inhale, lift your right fingertips up. Exhale, down to the ground, and we switch. Left hand comes up to the sky. Keep pulling your belly button in, strong in the core. If you want to keep wrapping your arm behind you, you might try to wiggle your fingers somewhere in the vicinity of your right hip or your inner right thigh, or maybe just a fist resting on your tailbone. Pull your left shoulder back. Inhale, coming back up with your left fingertips, and exhale, both hands to the ground. Inhale, lifting up halfway, and then exhale out of your mouth as you forward fold. From here, begin to bend your legs. Walk your hands behind you so you can come into a seated position. Actually, come into a seated position so then we can keep going and go into a lying down position. So coming onto your back, bring both knees in toward your chest and then really widen your knees out. You can start to lengthen your legs, and if you can hook your big toes with your peace fingers, so your pointer and your middle, then you can make a little hook and let your legs come into a V above you. And the important thing here, though, is that your shoulders don't completely detach from the mat to do this. So if you find that that's happening, then keep your back firmly planted on the mat and just bring your hands to the inside of your thighs or the inside of your calves. And from here, you can use your hands, a little bit of leverage to lengthen your inner thighs, and continue to press your tailbone down into the mat as well. You can keep a soft bend in your legs, of course. So allow this openness to just feel really good. So yoga is not a punishment. We're actually just trying to open the things back up that get compressed throughout the day, throughout the days, the weeks, the months. Trying to look for that space again. And then if your fingers are on your big toes, start to bring your inner legs together. And if your hands are on the inside of your legs, move them to the outside and use them to help guide your legs together. And once your legs are united, if your hands are on the outside of your legs, you can use your hands to start to pull your legs toward you and start to pull your toes down toward your face, toward your shoulders. If your fingers are hooked onto your big toes, then you can just use your fingers to pull your legs, still pressing them together firmly. And here, if your tailbone lifts up, try as much as you can to keep it planted on the ground. So pushing back down, shoulders coming back into the mat. So you feel your entire spine is completely connected. Take a couple more breaths here. And then leaving your back firmly planted on the ground, release your toes. Begin to open your arms. Begin to lower your legs and take up all of the space that you need. Now feeling your entire back body sinking down. Deep inhale into your nose. And then out of your mouth, exhale everything out. Let's do one more of those. Inhaling into your nose. And out of your mouth, everything out. And then closing your mouth again, finding your breathing in and out through your nose, but without trying to make your breath into anything now. Just let it be natural. However it comes, it comes. And the same with your body. We've gone from the movement of our practice, and we're trying to now circle back into the stillness that we found at the very beginning. Notice any sensations that you can feel coursing through your body. You might feel your heartbeat. These are all remnants of our effort. And now here in Shavasana, we release that effort. And again, just find ourselves in stillness in the moment. In this very moment. Now, if you have drifted, then bring your awareness back to this heavy feeling of the force of gravity, just letting you sink down into the ground. And gently inhale a little more deeply, feeling your chest and your belly expand against that gravity. And exhaling everything out. Begin to bring small movements into your fingers, into your toes, and then gently begin to unite your inner legs. Bring your arms by your ears. Inhale to stretch the entire length of your body. A really good stretch. And exhale to release. Place one foot on the ground, followed by the other, and roll yourself onto your side. You can allow your head to rest on your arm. Eyes are still closed. Take a couple more breaths here, lying on your side. Slowly getting ourselves ready to integrate back into our day. And as you begin to feel like you're ready, and you might want to stay here for another 10 minutes, however much time you've got. But once you are ready, make your way back up to a seated position. Crossing your legs, and place your hands together in front of your heart. And we will close the practice with another deep inhale into our nose. Try to feel that you're bringing this air, it's expanding every single space that you've got in your body. And then just feel that delicious relaxation as you exhale everything out. Thank you, thank you, thank you for practicing with me. And I hope to see you here again soon. If you have any questions, comments, you can always reach out to me. And I hope you have a beautiful day.